They are just concerned that you're not going to come home that night, or that you're going to get so drunk that you're going to sleep with some guy, get pregnant, and that is like the worst case scenario. So hi guys, today I'm going to film a video based on something that one of you guys asked me. I've got this email from this girl. My friend wants to be free and live her life. She's from a strict Indian family and she's worried that as a teenager she'll not be able to experience youth fun, as in sex, drinking, clubbing, staying out late at night, because her parents still restrict her from her freedoms. She wants to tell her parents that she wants to experience her youth years and that she doesn't want to turn her back on them or her Hindu upbringing, but wants to still have a Western upbringing that allows her to express her individuality. Please help Trisha and please give her some advice. I think this is something that all Indian people go through. I really don't think it's just you. I have to say that when I was younger, I was very restricted as to what I was allowed to do and where I was allowed to go. My friends that were English used to go to like daytimer clubs, they used to go out, they used to go out after school. I was never allowed to go because I had homework to do. So you can't do anything unless your homework's done. And to be fair, I kind of got that because my friends would do their homework at the last minute. When you get a bit older and you're a teenager, then I think it's a little bit harder because your friends want to do more stuff, you want to go out a little bit more. And honestly, from experience, the only thing I can suggest that you do is firstly, build your parents' trust. Get them to trust you. So ask them if you can go somewhere, i.e. to the cinema with your friends after school, something little that you think they might not mind you doing, and just say to them, I'll be home at this time and I will text you throughout the evening to let you know that I'm okay. Indian parents, a lot of the times, they're just worried about the safety because they watch all this news on TV, they watch Crime Watch and they see all these psychopaths going around, and they are just concerned that you're not going to come home that night, or that you're going to get so drunk that you're going to sleep with some guy, get pregnant, and that is like the worst case scenario. Allow your parents to trust you. Allow your parents to trust that if you say you're going to be back at a certain time, you will be back at a certain time. Have a really good group of friends. Like, it's really important that your parents like your friends. If your parents like your friends and trust your friends and can see that your friends are sensible people, they know they're not going to leave you in a situation where you're by yourself, out somewhere by yourself. So imagine that your parents don't know who your friends are. You go to school and one day you just kind of go, Mum, I'm going out, I'm going to a friend's house. They don't know your friend. They don't know where your friend lives. They don't know what kind of person that you're going to hang out with. It's really important that you give your parents a chance to meet your friends so that they can trust them and know that your friends are kind of sensible and reassure them. If you're someone that says, I'm going to be home at 10 and I'm home at 10, then that is great. Your parents will start building up a trust for you. If you go out somewhere for dinner and you're back by like 9:30, your parents can see you're safe in bed, you've done your homework before you've gone out, everything's fine, your parents will start to build up a trust for you. When they won't allow you to do all this stuff is when they don't know your friends and you go behind their back and you lie to them, you come home at stupid times, you come home drunk, and you're really stupid. Because if you're stupid, then stupid things will happen to you. So the majority of this video is basically to say, get your parents to trust you. If you are still a bit concerned and you still have questions and you still just think they're just not letting me go anywhere, then I would say you have to sit down and you have to have a conversation with them. You have to say, Mum, there's this film, I really want to watch it. If you are turning 18, you're going to be going to university anyway in a year's time. But it's really important that when you go to university, you don't go crazy. So when I was at university, there was like two different types of girls. There were three types of girls, and I like to say that I was in the normal category. So there were three types of girls. The first type of girls were ones that didn't socialise with anybody and kind of just kept themselves to themselves and were only there to go to university and study. They weren't really there to make friends. They were just there to get their education done and go home. They didn't go clubbing, they didn't go drinking, they didn't have boyfriends. They just went there to study and they did a bloody good job of it. The second set of girls are, I would say, the normal ones, which are like me. And then the third set of girls are the ones whose parents never allowed them to go out, never allowed them to speak to boys, didn't build up a trust with their parents, had to sneak out all the time, that then they go to university, they suddenly get all this freedom and they go absolutely crazy. They get drunk every night, they get pregnant in the first year, they fail the year of university, they fail their exams because are not used to having all this freedom, and they sort of stupidly take advantage of it and then make mistakes. And I just feel like if you have been exposed to stuff slightly during your life, you're not going to go crazy when you go to university. And this is like parental advice. My parents, when I was 16, 17, we'd go out for dinner. My parents would let me have a glass of wine with dinner. I would just be allowed the one, but I would be allowed a glass of wine for dinner. When I was 14, 15, I was allowed a sip of wine from my parents' like glass. I was allowed one sip here, one sip there, and that was it. When I got to 16, 17, so just before I turned 18, before I became legally okay to drink, my parents would allow me to have a Bacardi Breezer or a WKD with my dinner. Or if we went to a wedding, I was allowed to have one glass or half a glass of champagne, that sort of thing. So when I went to university, alcohol wasn't a new thing for me. And I think it's really important that your parents allow you to push the boundaries a little bit when you're at home, because then you go to university and they feel comfortable that they've brought you up to be sensible, be streetwise. And I think it's really important that your parents know that you're streetwise. I think it's really important that your parents know that you know how to handle yourself. I think it's really important that your parents know that you're not the type of girl that's going to get into a random cab with a random guy that in an unlicensed taxi. And I think your parents just want to know that you are going to be able to sense out bad people in the world, because they can't be with you. So while you're at home with them, they want to shield you from all badness in the world. It's not because they're bad parents, it's because they want you to concentrate on your studying and they don't want anything to happen to you. So I feel like people need to understand this. Indian parents are not horrible because they're just horrible, and they're strict because they care about you. They are doing it so that you get your education sorted and nothing happens to you. Because remember, your education is what opens doors for you in the future, and they want to make sure that you get there. With the parents, it's their responsibility to make sure you get there while you are living underneath their roof. I sound like I'm giving like a lecture. I'm really not. I'm just trying to explain it from both sides. So your parents just want you to be safe. They just want you to get your education. They want you to be happy. They want you to have an amazing future ahead of you. You just need to get them to trust you. So you need them to understand you're not a stupid, you're streetwise, you know when to tell someone's taking advantage of you, you're not going to get stupidly drunk, you're going to know your limits, you're going to not get in the car with bad people, you're not going to make friends with people that smoke drugs every day and get you to do it. They just are worried that you could be influenced quite easily. When I was growing up, I had a lot of English friends. Like I said, all my friends were English when I was growing up, and I wasn't allowed to go to all this clubby stuff. But to be fair, I don't feel like I missed out on anything. When you go to university, you can do all that stuff then. You've got years and years and years ahead of you. I would honestly concentrate on education stuff now, because it sounds like you're probably going to go to university soon and you will be exposed to clubbing, you'll be exposed to drinking. Just know your limits and be really sensible about it. There is nothing wrong with going out and having a dance and talking to new people and meeting new people. Just don't be silly about it. You don't want to be that girl with the reputation, and that is all your parents are worried about. So speak to them about it, earn their trust, and go to university. If you start lying and then you get drunk and then you don't come home on time, your parents are not going to let you go anywhere. It's really important that you are honest with them. I'm going to a party, my friend's having a party, it's her birthday, I don't want to miss out, she really wants me to be there, she's my friend. If your parents know your friend and they like your friend, they are more likely to let you actually go if they know that the people that you're going to spend time with. And I think that's a really important part to remember. I hope this gave you some sort of insight into why Indian parents think the way that they think. And I know it's a struggle, I've been there before. And to be fair, I just didn't do that much up until the age of 18. When I was 18, 19, I had that freedom, but my parents had kind of prepared me for it. They prepared me for streetwise. They gave me the sex talk. They spoke to me about random strangers. They talked to me about unlicensed cabs. They talked to me about rape. They talked to me about everything before I went to university. And I had built up this trust with them so that when I got to 17, 18, I was allowed to go out with my friends because I was home at the times I said I was going to be home. And I constantly had contact with them while I was out. My sister, to be fair, was much better at it than I was. She would literally send my parents a text on the hour every hour, and they would let her do whatever she wanted. At the beginning, I was a bit of a rebel. I did used to lie. I did used to sneak out. My parents called me out a few times. Therefore, they didn't want me to go anywhere. But I think it's really important that I learned from it, and really important that I was safe. They knew I was safe and I had constant contact with them. This turned into a really long video, but I think it's really important that you guys know this. So that is my video about why do Indian parents never let me out? Why am I not allowed to go out? Why are my parents so strict? And I feel like this is the reason, but you need to speak to them and you need to earn their trust. And then it will be okay, I promise you. So love you guys lots, and I will see you guys in the next video.